In my first RWBY video, I covered Volume 1 and gave my quick thoughts on it, all of which were positive. However, I neglected to give a bit of an explanation as to what RWBY is first, because I wasn't even sure who the video would actually reach. So let me give you a quick rundown of what RWBY is before I move on to talking about Volume 2. RWBY is the story of RWBY. No, not that one. No, that doesn't even, what? There we go. Essentially, we follow RWBY as she aims to become a huntress who helps people. She attends Beacon Academy where she trains, learns, and meets tons of characters, and that's the basic premise pretty much. For this video, I'm going to be breaking Volume 2 into 4 different segments, so that can be a bit more organized this time around. The story is relatively unchanged this time around. We're still building on the idea of hunters training to fight for peace and harmony, but we actually get some world expansion as we're told that there are multiple nations in the world of Remnant, although we don't see or get more explanation than just being told that they exist. This is a bit of a recurring gap that I've been noticing in RWBY, where we'll be told something exists like civil wars, semblances, auras, or the elemental dust stuff, and then never get any more expansion about it or anything. It was fine in Volume 1 because it was just the start of it with 5-minute episodes, you know. And even now, it's not really a big deal. I'm probably just making a deal out of nothing. But it's a small thing that I've noticed that could throw things off if it's not addressed. Outside of that, there were consistent moments of character growth. A great moment in particular is when the professor just goes around asking each member of Team RWBY what their motivations are, just so that they can hear themselves say it out loud to understand how selfish or uncertain they really are, so that they can get a true understanding of what it is to be a hunter. Food Fight was the best food fight in history. Generator Rex is here for some reason. The new villains are annoying, but not in the good way like Torchwick. They just kind of show up and cackle about how evil they are for no real reason until it just cuts away. Penny almost put a tear in my eye. Dan's scene is a masterpiece. John actually sticking to his promise and dancing with power was golden. Nora and Ren make me smile a whole lot. And the action sequences, ooh boy. I'll get to those later, but for now, let's just talk about the music. The music in RWBY, just like most of anything else you'll watch, doesn't really stand out most of the time. That's not to say it's bad, just saying that it serves its purpose, but doesn't really go beyond that, you know? Like you're not going to be listening to this while you're driving in the car or anything. That one song from the dance is groovy, and some of the battle themes will have you bopping your head along with the fights. But I honestly found myself forgetting most tracks other than the opening theme, which the opening took a few episodes to grow on me, I'll admit. But dang, when it finally clicked, that opening was in my head throughout the whole season, and even while I'm making this, the character movements and those cuts are so well timed to the music that it's so crisp. All right, it's time to talk about the animation. I got to get to this. In my first RWBY video, I mentioned that the animation was pretty jank, but that it would grow on you after a while. However, I didn't really explain what I actually mean by jank, which might have thrown some people off. When I say jank, I mean that the animation looks stiff and lifeless at times. It's almost like I'm just standing next to someone while they're just ramming 2 unfinished 3D models into each other over and over again. It's not intolerable or anything. But what makes it worse is that it tries to cover the stiffness up through using an overabundance of cuts anytime a character doesn't attack, or by using tons of flashy effects to conceal it. The stiffer animations work for more relaxed scenarios, and even works in their favor by allowing for the team to put more emphasis on facial expressions and less complex body language. The jokes and quick-witted humor all land because every character will say or do something comical, and then the animation will pick up on it without dwelling on those moments for too long. I'm no animator or anything, so I may very well just be talking out of my oral cavity here, but even so, the animation in Volume 1 left a bit to be desired when it came to the fights. Now with Volume 2, it's like the whole staff of RWBY hopped in a time machine, traveled to the exact date I uploaded my first RWBY video, said, "Jank animation, huh? Okay then, slap me in the face, hop back in the time machine to go back to 2014, then created all of the action sequences in Volume 2 just to prove me wrong. From the opening sequence with beautifully timed changes from character to character fighting, to episode 4 where Team RWBY is fighting this giant Gundam thing with amazing teamwork, then to Pyre's duels in episode 5, all the way to the final battle at the season finale. Every problem I had with the fights was addressed here, so that now each fight felt concentrated, with each movement conveying a feeling of weight and impact, rather than just being superfluous flash. These fights were amazing, and I can't ask for much more from RWBY on the animation side of things. Alright, this video is longer than I wanted it to be, so I gotta hurry things up so that I can get back to Volume 3. That made so much sense that it rhymed, come on. Penny is still golden. It's impossible not to smile when Nora and Ren walk on screen. Team RWBY is still just as entertaining to watch. Jean and Pyre still have hope. The super hyper professor guy was actually pretty cool all along. And that one team who showed up at the end of episode 12 that just whooped everyone, I don't think they ever mentioned their names, but I'm really curious as to who they are. Phew. Okay, that's about it for Volume 2. I phased over some bigger plot details like Yang's mom and Weiss's family, but I think this is good enough for now. With my first RWBY video, I didn't really know what I was getting into, and I actually ended up with a surprising amount of positive feedback that is much appreciated. So I'm eager to know what your thoughts are on RWBY Volumes 1 and 2. And I know I heard some people, I've been trying to avoid spoilers and stuff, but I've been hearing good things about the next couple of volumes. Anything that I might have missed or failed to explain in this video, I'd also love to know about. And any and all people who actually stick around to this point are legends, and I appreciate you as always. And yeah, that's about all I have for today. I'll probably be back next week or something with a video on some fall 2021 anime. So consider hanging out if you're into that sort of stuff. But yeah, RWBY is still rocking it, and I may change things up a bit for my Volume 3 video. Till then, have a good one. Thank you, and peace.
Desire.